there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dark pass away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask their cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight could mask their cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise.
all the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Elizabeth, and this is Hillbilly Crime, and we've got a very special guest with us today. We've got Miss Jennifer Taylor. Hello,
Hey,
Now,
Molly on
Jennifer,
here.
yes. Now, Jennifer is an attorney, and she just took on the Brian Gallagher case. Anybody that's not familiar with that, Brian Gallagher is a gentleman who was charged with red rum out of Rowan County, Kentucky. And his trial has been for about 15 years. So, well, tell us a little bit about yourself, Jenny. Tell everybody, like, where you from. And
Well, I'm going to first say that I do practice in Whitesburg, but I don't know nothing about what's going on. I'm not from here. I just
Yeah.
always seem to wind up in the most corrupt places. I'm from Belfry, Kentucky, which, fun fact, your woman attorney you admire, Carrie Bartley, she actually graduated with my brother Jeff from Belfry. Go Pirates! That's in Pike County.
Tell them who Carrie Bartley is. Remind them who Carrie Bartley is.
Carrie Bartley is one of the defense attorneys that is representing Mickey Stines.
Yeah.
She's a hoot. She's got a lot of personality. But I've known her for a long time. And I went to undergrad at Marshall I don't want to give my age out, but it was in the 90s and early 2000s. And I took a year off, didn't know what I was going to be. Decided I'd either be a mortician or might as well take the LSAT. If I was a mortician, I would have used the phrase, I'll be the last to let you down on billboards. But I became an attorney. I went down to school in Florida. I was a prosecutor down there in the Panhandle for 4 years. I was a special felony prosecutor for most of the time. I moved back here because I needed to be closer to family. I'm still in Eastern Kentucky because my brother got murdered in 2013. He was the baby of our family. He was a police officer, and that turned me against corruption because it had to do with higher ups getting rid of him. And so I can't leave my mom and move away. I live about an hour and a half from her. Family is everything. I don't have much family. But now I'm in Whitesburg. I was out for a year and a half in 2023. I have breast cancer. I'm in the reconstructive process of it. No history, so women, do your monthly checks. And no kids, 3-legged dog, no husband. I work. I like to nap. I pretty much lay low at my house. And I became friends with Elizabeth, and it seems like I've known her forever.
That's right. We met after the show started. It was after we started the show, and we've been very fast friends ever since, haven't we?
Yeah. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, we've got a lot of people in here. Let's see. How is everybody tonight? So one of the things that's been going on is, these videos have dropped in the last couple of days with Brian Enton. He has done a couple of, a little bit too soon. He came in town last week, I guess. I didn't know that they were even here. Did you know that they were here?
No, I was out of town, but as I said, I'm my own business. Like, I usually work from home. I have an office in Whitesburg, but I handle mostly federal criminal cases, and I work for another person out of the county. I don't like to deal when they're like, oh, there's people from Letcher County, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty mellow when it comes to everything.
So that kind of all this stuff that's been going on in the news with all the corruption and stuff, it's even affecting other lawyers that are in the area, isn't it? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, there's not many lawyers in the area as is, and I just feel like, well, I had family court today, and there was me and one other person from Letcher County in there. People are hiring people out of the county. I understand people having trust issues. I mean, you don't know who to trust and who not to trust. And when people say they don't clarify and say they, them, I mean, I'm not that well known in Whitesburg, so people can't say they, them, except Jennifer. People may not know me because I just stay my own business, I don't go out and party and whatever.
Yeah, that's what I say to everybody. I stay home. I just stay at the house. We don't get out and run around. We got too much work to do.
Files. We get boxes of files.
That's right. I just delivered 3 of those boxes to you the other day, didn't I?
Yeah. It's kind
of we're excited. We're excited on that trial or on that case. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight, let's pull this up. Now, if you all know, if you've been following me, sometimes this thing freezes up with this software. There's nothing I can do about it. But if it does, Miss Jenny will still be here.
I don't sing, but I have plenty of stories.
There you go. Well, I'm going to pull up this video again. We're not going to watch the whole thing. I just want to get, well, I don't know. Maybe we should watch the whole thing again. Oftentimes, I find that it usually takes me several times watching something before I see everything. And this one right here is going to be, it's a nation, and it's of one of the former employees of the jail. So let's see what she says.
That it was a brothel. It is all just it's all a brothel between all the employees sleeping with each other and sleeping with the inmates that come in. And a lot of them, they are repeat offenders. A lot of them are permanent stayers. It's nasty. It's sickening.
Did you ever see anyone having sex?
I never seen anybody having sex, but I had heard stories. One of the female guards specifically was telling me that one of the places she takes male inmates was the storage room, which used to be a stairwell in front of the medication room. It's literally directly across. You can't get in there without a key, and that's where they take them. A lot of times they get took up into the courthouse, especially after hours late at night. Nobody's at work. Nobody's up there, so it's all empty. It's all empty space.
How common was that?
More common than you would want to believe in the court system. Even down to some of my daily supervisors. There'd be girls sign themselves out and take them on home. It was sick.
The supervisors would take the inmates home for the night?
Yes. When there's policy, once an inmate leaves that jail space, you're not supposed to be in contact with them for 6 months. So it's one of those things, oh, you're taking them, and then the girls go back and tell them the stories, oh, I slept with this person when he took me home. It's sick.
What would the inmates get in return for having sex with, the leadership?
For inmates, the smallest things, unless you're going with one of the overheads. If they're sleeping with the guard, it's mostly for things like cigarettes, time out of the cell, pops, commissary, things like that.
Wow. What did you think when the sheriff shot the judge?
Think she froze up. Elizabeth, are you there? Well, tonight was Jailhouse horror stories. It was supposed to be something else. So I guess my jailhouse horror story, one of them would be when I got pee thrown on me going down to visit an inmate in the Letcher County Jail. Mountain Dew bottle aimed for my inmate, thrown at me. I've been tested. I have all my shots. But yeah, it was all over. And they didn't do anything to the inmate that threw the pee at me.
Did they see it? I mean, it's kind of right there in front of the.
Yeah, and I mean, I needed napkins, and I was like, I wanted to whoop that guy's butt. If he hadn't been in the cell like with locked down, I would have went right on after him.
Man, that's ridiculous.
People's voices finally be heard, because even I believe that the sheriff, he either knew something or something was going on that he knew about that we all might not know about, but he was doing something to protect us.
Did you know, inmates were having sex with the judge?
Yes. Pretty much that's kind of the thing that everybody in the county knows, but it was confirmed to me after working in the jail, especially after being invited to a party myself.
What happened?
I said no thank you. I declined and kind of just went back on to what I was doing. It was just one of those things of, was I just asked that? Like, did that just really...
To a sex party?
Yes.
Who asked you?
It was Mr. Mullins himself. My ex-coworkers, they come out and even asked me now not to mention it. They've even, them participating in the parties themselves, I had another one ask me to go to another one of Mullins's get-togethers. And I declined it again because it's one of those things. I was raised better than that. You know what I mean? If you know, you know in the county. Everybody knows. They might not speak.
Frozen, again, I never watched that. Elsa Frozen, I don't have kids, but isn't that song, Let It Go, Let It Go? She needs to let this internet service provider go. I'm starting to think that somebody really is hacking in or driving by and doing a scrambler. I'm sure she'll be right back. I can't get into the story of my great uncle that was a snake handler, so I'll leave it for another Frozen time.
Even if we're afraid to speak up on it, we need to.
We'll get it.
Is this
Don't
what we
worry.
want for our next generation? Is that what we want for our kids? What we're going through? What our past people have gone through? Do we want that for them? And not.
I want to stop at real fast and just make a point something out. She said in this interview that she only worked at the jail for about 3.5 months. And in this interview, she also says that she was invited to these parties twice. Mullins invited her the first time, and then she was invited by a coworker, I think she says, the second time. Well, that kind of, if you think about it, if they had that kind of, workplace thing, they're like, I only lasted a week because I carried my Bible with me when I went for my internship at the sheriff's department. Now, I don't know if that was the reason why I was let go or not, but, they say it was my background, but they were very fully aware of my background whenever they gave me the internship. And then whenever they got rid of me, they brought somebody in that was in drug court. So that meant they had felonies on them, and I didn't have anything like that on mine. So, but that's what made me think of, if you did have that kind of kind of like a criteria for your workforce, if somebody new has been asked twice or invited twice and they've turned it down, then that probably means they're not going to be playing ball, They said that the reason why, Bert Sloan says that the reason why she was let go and dismissed was because she had an unauthorized relationship with an inmate. But the context of that is she was in that relationship before she got the job. So, I don't know if that matters or not in the court of public opinion, but I just want to make sure that we tell that.
My opinion on that is,
I don't want that for my son. I want better for them. I want an actual community that's not based on.
Sorry, Jenny, go ahead, honey.
My opinion on that is if she was in a relationship with somebody who then got arrested, and we don't know if it was trumped up charges, if they were trying to get her to leave, it sounds like an excuse. I mean, I'm devil's advocate here, but any partner of yours, any significant other could get arrested, and that's your job. Just don't. He wasn't, from what I understand, in Letcher County at the time. He was in another jail getting transferred to Letcher County. Just have her have no contact, make her not a part of that jail. That's a very fishy reason to ask to be terminated. Because anybody can be arrested, spouses can. I mean, don't think anybody's above getting arrested for right or wrong reasons. And I think one time if Elizabeth freezes up and she don't come back, they may have came in and arrested her, and I'd have to go down to the jail and get pee thrown on me.
I love you. I swear I do. I love you.
If you got money and know people, and if you're willing to get on your knees or on your back, it's sickening, and I want better for them.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and
Okay. So we'll stop sharing that. Okay. So one of the things,
what we're going to talk about tonight is PRIA, which is the it's a national federal prison. It's basically dealing with Prison Rape Elimination Act. I believe that is the main term of it. It's a federal act. It's just not official policy, but I think that's what we're getting into tonight is the PRIA.
yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So the Kentucky Department of Corrections mandates zero tolerance, zero, toward all forms of sexual abuse, sexual harassment. What is PRIA? The Prison Rape Elimination Act of September 4th, 2003. So this was put into effect then. I'm not too sure about before then. Are you aware of anything that would be
I mean, there would be different jails would have different policies, officials, and there's always been under 18 USC some deprivations of civil rights and claims that you could make, I would believe, if you were involved in a grape. I got to get used to saying grape and not the regular word. Act in jail, in prison, and any type of those facilities. But I know that this was to be specific and target, and its main goal is zero tolerance, sexual harassment and sexual assault.
But that's funny. It's doing all kinds of funny stuff. Okay, so I think I turned my settings onto my computer. It's not going to let me pull that one up, but that's okay. We'll pull it up in my messages. I got all this wrote down here. I copied and pasted.
I just pulled up stuff for when I was a special prosecutor and I got trained to do violent domestics around Florida and to handle and train stuff in regards to any type of domestic or sexual relationship. And I would go into the jails. I'd train law enforcement officers. I'd go to prosecutors' offices and train them on the ins and outs. So I just pulled up some old notes on it.
You do have some? Yes. Great, great, great. All right. I think, Jenny, I think you are able to share. Can you share your screen on that side? Does it give you the little prompt?
Say string to this to your audience?
No, that would be that would go to your YouTube. No, like if you does it give you an option down there at the bottom like a TV screen with a plus sign in the middle of it? All right, click on that and it's gonna give you the option to share your screen, and then it will ask you if you want a window, a tab.
What am I sharing?
You're gonna choose. Does it show you like your tabs, anything you have open whenever you click at plus sign?
These are old notes. These are pretty cloud notes.
Okay.
these are handwritten notes. I handwrite
Gotcha.
stuff.
I do too.
I was looking at it and I'm like, am I sharing the discovery of that I just received of a federal case today? I don't think so. I don't want to scare everybody off.
Well, here, let me read this and then you can take over reading. This is PRIA. Inmates cannot give consent, period. You know, many of us are already familiar with like what's it called? Statutory rape. You know, that's for like children who are underage who cannot consent. Well, inmates, they are in protective custody. They are basically children, okay, one of the most important federal laws in corrections is the prison grape laws. PRIA makes it clear because of the power imbalance. Because of the power imbalance between staff and inmates, inmates cannot legally give consent to sexual activity with staff or those in authority over them. This isn't just a policy. It's federal law. It exists because when someone is incarcerated, they are under total control of that facility. Now, even if they say yes, and it's consensual, even if it's not brutal, ravaging of somebody, it still is wrong. The law recognizes that their ability to freely refuse does not exist. So if a judge is asking an inmate to do something like that, that's a crime. If a jail guard is doing this is a crime. That's even like the house arrest. Now, Jenny, does that also apply to a rehab?
I would think it would be applicable. I mean, I know it applies to juvenile halls. It applies to prisons. It's for sexual assault and sexual harassment in any confinement facility. So I would think if you were ordered, I mean, just basic reasoning, if you were ordered to a rehab via the court system and it was rehab or jail, then you would be, it can be argued, you would be under the PRIA Act.
Yep.
I see where somebody asked if I can see the messages, and I can see the messages. I'm usually in there lurking and making my quip or two on it. I was the one that mentioned holster sniffers the other night.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But all of this is, it's why that correctional facilities, usually in the rest of the world, or in the rest of the country, not the world, the country, leadership really enforce PRIA standards. We have a level of standard in the rest of the country that I don't think, well, I shouldn't say that because everybody's telling us that this is happening everywhere. This ain't just happening here.
Yeah.
Now you handle other counties and stuff too, don't you?
Yes, I handle a lot more. I handle up to Lexington. I do London, Ashland. I'm one that handles more federal cases now. I do a lot of state, but I've branched out and getting back to federal. The federal system, believe it or not, I like dealing with them better. Their sentencing guidelines, people say they're harsher sentences, but sometimes where they control, it's more political. In the federal system, it's very, very to the point, and politics really don't come into play because those judges are appointed.
Interesting. Have you ever had a PRIA case before?
No, I have not ever had a PRIA case before. I mean, I'm sure they're out there. I was learning about it in 2007, 2008 when I was a prosecutor. And, you know, corruption isn't just for here. When I was down in Okaloosa County, the sheriff at the time, I forgot his name, but the elected official sheriff, I think in 2009 or 10, he was the elected sheriff over the entire National Sheriff's Association or whatnot. And the feds wound up arresting him in Vegas with his side piece for embezzling money and stuff. So it happens everywhere.
I'm back. I didn't hear what you were saying there at the end. It froze me out.
I was talking about how it happens everywhere. Like when I was in Okaloosa, the sheriff had a side piece and got arrested in Vegas, and he was over the National Sheriff's Association embezzling money.
Well, there you go. So I have always heard that a lot of these annual conferences and stuff that they have, these legal conferences and the law enforcement conferences, that they are a lot of times excuses to have freak offs. Have you ever had that kind of experience at some of these things?
Well, and
I mean, not personally.
My lips do look weird. It must be the lighting or something.
Well,
yeah, my lips do look distorted. I don't know. This is my first time, and I've never used this computer for Zoom or anything. It does happen. It's usually the dorkiest people and the people that are the most silent at the conferences and stuff. I mean, I like to go there and sightsee, when I'm not in a conference, and I've went to plenty of trainings and conferences, and you go to different cities and whatnot. But as to the hookup culture is alive and well. But I'm just not into the attorneys and I'm just not into. It's just that the people that hook up are just a different breed.
Yeah. Well, so I had gotten a tip several months ago. Somebody had sent me some information on one of the top polygraph examiners out of Pikeville, actually. And he worked for the state.
That was playing Pikeville.
Yes. And he was standing outside of the hotel. They were all meeting at this hotel. And he was standing outside the front doors of the hotel, right in front of the camera at the hotel, and was looking into the camera, knowing. Yes. And his hand in his pocket and was just going to town. And he stood out there in of the hotel in front of that camera for a long time. And people that worked there, I'm sure they were shocked and whatever, but that man knew what he was doing. He was doing that on purpose. He was an exhibitionist. Well, he was looking in that camera. He was looking in that camera, on purpose.
And that was what was getting him. That was what was getting him excited. Is the whole exhibitionist. Some people like it in public, some people to watch.
Yeah. Well, and that's fine. That's fine if you do. I don't have to judge what you do. If you want to do whatever you want to do, you're perfectly fine to do that. But not out in public. If I had been working that desk and he had done that to me, I would be traumatized. I would have
probably out and said something, buddy.
It's scary.
There's no her uncle.
Well, I mean, if you've got a whole team of law enforcement agents or law enforcement officers there, and those are the ones that are doing this stuff, I mean, it's just unbelievable to me. And there was a complaint filed. Like all of this stuff got reported. This wasn't something that just somebody caught and was giving me a tip. Oh no, this was reported. There was a complaint filed. There was an investigation. And what do you think ended up happening? The guy just disappeared. He just went away. I'm sure he probably resigned, but that's the problem. They give all these people the opportunity to resign before they fire them.
And he gets his
Pension.
retirement, all the benefits and everything to that nature.
And that's not fair. It's not right. They shouldn't be getting all those things. Just like Ben Fields and Angie Fields. Angie Fields gets a better job and goes upstairs in the courthouse. And I guarantee he's on her health insurance or in any other kind of benefits that she has. You know, I'm assuming, of course. But I don't think that's right. You just got convicted of raping women in our jail. And now because you're married to an employee, you're going to get to benefit from the state in that way. I don't think that's right.
I don't know that for 100% certain. If you're a spouse, you know, they pay what, $50, so there's a payment, but then their insurance. And a lot of people, even that make good money, have spouses that work for as education, it's something so they can have insurance, and that's the main reason.
Yeah. Have you ever looked into our those audits and stuff? You said that you had saw them.
Yeah.
Did you look and see about the way that the sheriff's department pays their benefits? Like I was looking at, so a lot of that's really hard to figure out, you know, when you're reading all that stuff. It's really kind of difficult to see, but it kept talking about how the sheriff's department pays all of these benefits, like their retirement, their whatever it was. I forget what it was now, but it was, all of it was like, they paid so much of it. It was a lot. I don't remember exactly what the numbers are now, but it was a lot. And I was very surprised at how much, like people who work in Whitesburg get in their benefit packages.
They probably get, when I was a prosecutor, you did that for experience. You didn't do it for the pay. But I will tell you that the benefits, I mean, we had matching 401ks. We had really great insurance. Student loans, you had a certain student loan. If I'd stayed 20 years, I didn't, it would have been forgiven. I mean, the benefits a lot of times outweigh the salary, and that's why people stay. I don't know if people are aware. I'm sure Elizabeth told you there's an audit. They do audits every year. They're required to do audits every year. And then the Mountain Eagle runs them in the newspaper. I mean, I guess they're in little blurbs. And I think the Mountain Eagle runs it in. I don't get the Mountain Eagle. I don't bother with that. But there's always adverse opinions coming out about it, but nothing is ever done. We need somebody besides. I'm thinking the state auditor is as corrupt as everybody else and getting the back kick if there's nothing being done.
Well, those audits are basically worthless because you have to read what it says the scope of the audit even is. And it plainly tells you at the very beginning of it that this audit is not in any way, you know, like an investigative tool. It is not set up to where it can tell you if they're doing a good job or not. The only thing those audits can do is tell you if the system is working. So what it usually says, the one of the complaints that continues to be raised in the annual audits, in all of them, is that there's no system, the separation of duties, there's no system in place that even recognizes waste, fraud, or abuse.
They
There's
just
nothing.
get opinions. And I
There's
know with they the audits are crucial, for public transparency and accountability, but what good is it if there's nothing and no mechanism to be done? We need a forensic accountant, a forensic outside team, I think outside the state of Kentucky, to investigate. Because it's not even worth it if what they're doing don't matter. She froze up again. At least it's a cute picture of her. Now I have a 3-legged dog. Her name is Elle. She's a white boxer. If you live in Whitesburg, you've probably seen me walking her near the college. I got her when she was 6. Love my Elle.
What was I gonna say? What was we saying before I froze up?
We're talking about the auditors and no accountability.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable that when we're dealing with this many millions of dollars, because there's so many millions of dollars coming into this area now. I feel like there was a plan. There was a plan put in place long ago. And I truly believe that the 2018 election was absolutely critical to filling those positions with like-minded people who would play ball.
See, I wasn't here in 2018, so I don't know anything other than what it was. I was in Pike County.
He's in Pike County, okay.
I didn't even know Letcher County was right beside Pike County. I didn't know Whitesburg existed.
I remember what I was.
I thought Jenkins was the town seat of Letcher County, and I didn't realize Letcher was right beside Pike. My mom used to have to take my brother. He was a hemophiliac, to a UK clinic that would come into Jenkins once a year to do testing on being a hemophiliac. That's the only reason I knew about Jenkins, and she'd always complain about how far of a drive it was. My geography, I know I'm dogging on women, but I have no sense of where something is. Even in Pike County, I don't know where stuff is. I get lost going to my friend's house all the time, or I have to slow down. Let me see what some of the comments say. Wow, I'm on my own. And my lips still look distorted. I've not had any lip filler, I promise. It's just, I think the internet and whoever's ganking Elizabeth's internet's making my lips look distorted. We're back.
What I was trying to say was that judge in Pikeville, when he got indicted on bringing in an assistant attorney that never did any work, but I was really impressed, kind of, with the kind of fraud that they about got away with. The guy, whoever it was, they were given like so much.
It was Shane Hall.
Was it? You know, it was.
That is Shane Hall was and he had to be in a rat or something, because I don't know why he was not indicted for his part in the scheme either. I mean, my opinion always goes to that's a narc or a rat, but I think they could have got him just as easy as they got Keith, because the charges, you lie under oath, you sign, then it's sent in the mail, and that's that. You don't need a lot of ducks in a row That's a pretty easy charge to prove. So
Yeah. Well, but what I was so impressed with was the amount of the fraud. Like he got paid however much it was, say $250,000 a year. But by the time, I forget exactly what it was that he was paid, his salary was paid. But by the time they added the benefits into it, it was over $500,000 a year. And he was given this for what, like 20 years or 10 or however long?
I
It was a
have some
long time.
experience with that. And God has blessed me by not giving me jobs. When I
Yes.
first moved back to Pike County, and I needed a job that had insurance, and where I have prosecution experience, I contacted Keith Hall at the county attorney's office and said, I asked him about a job. Some people, because it's the Good Old Boys Network, got up with him that knew him and said, Jennifer would like a job if you had any open. And he kept saying, oh, when one comes open, she's got it. We're waiting on money to come. When one comes open, she's got it. Well, it never came open. And then I posted this long thing on Facebook when he was running for election because whatever. He rubbed me the wrong way. He lied to me. And it turned out, looking hindsight 2020, is there was a job opening, but he hired Shane Hall, who did not ever appear. So he was all like, we're going to hire you as soon as we get the money and stuff. But there was a backing guy that was hired.
Well, didn't you say that you had shown interest? Can I say that you'd shown interest in the prosecutor's position, or at least assistant part-time?
Yeah. Even when Edison was there and he was sick, when I was here for the first year and a half, I wouldn't have been able to identify Edison. He was never in court. Never in court. I wouldn't have known who he was. Michael carried that office. And Michael did a great job. Michael, he carried that office. Michael Watts.
Sure did.
And I let Edison know. And I had some other people let him know that I'd be interested, because when I first started, I had no conflicts of interest. It was before I was getting criminal cases. So I honestly think that people that have private law firms have conflicts of interest. Being able to work these part-time jobs, if you're doing car wrecks, and I'm not dissing anybody, it just makes sense that how can you do car wrecks and civil law and then be expected to prosecute people that you're trying to get money for, or they're on the other side of the party? That needs to be fixed in Kentucky.
Yeah, that's a Kentucky thing. Absolutely. Let's see. Genevieve says there's an inspector general's office fraud division. Have you ever worked with them, or?
I've never worked with them. I'm familiar with them, but I mean, with all the attention that's coming on Letcher County, people have duties to look into it, I would think. Or at least, people would be reporting it. And I mean, if you're not looking at it, then what job are you doing?
Yeah, somebody said
just the rest of them.
Somebody said that I should tell my guest, Jennifer, that she should run against Matt Butler. That you'd win.
No, I mean, I don't have any problems with Matt. That's me and Elizabeth. I'm like, me and him, I've worked.
She's neutral.
I'm neutral. I don't have any problems with him. I mean, there's things that he's done that I wouldn't have done, but his personal decision, calling people out and whatnot. But I mean, any of my friends from undergrad, law school, anybody will tell you I'm sweet, and I see both sides of the story. If you don't like me because I'm friends with somebody, even though I'm not talking crap about you, then I just don't anymore. You have to respect and learn to agree to disagree. But me and Matt have never had problems.
Yeah. You are you have a very, like, you don't get excited. You are so cool and calm and collected all the time. And I have anxiety that just goes through the roof. I start getting, a little bit anxious, and my voice starts getting loud, and
I'll be like
my
Elizabeth.
brain.
Chill, breathe.
Yeah. It just gets me all tore up. And you're not like that at all. People really, I guess I don't have much of a filter, and you are like sweet.
Oh,
That's
sometimes I don't. I have to watch my mouth, but I mean, I take everything with a grain of sarcasm.
Yeah.
If you don't get dry humor and sarcasm, you're not going to get me.
Yes. Frankenberry says it's important to understand this isn't a Letcher County problem. It's an Appalachian problem. That's a great point. I mean, it's a countrywide problem, but Appalachia is a little bit different. Jenny, you said you was a prosecutor in Florida. Can you tell us a little bit of the differences between, like, someplace like Florida and here?
Well, the jail, they actually, the jails were more a lockdown facility. They did, remember that real life on MTV, True Life?
Mm-hmm.
They actually featured the Okaloosa County Jail when I was working there. It was a client. It was not a client. It was a person I prosecuted. And it was like, baby daddy's in the county jail. And it was at our county jail. And I mean, the guards and stuff are not so, it's an open jail where inmates just come and walk and go.
Mm-hmm.
The jails here, I mean, as I said, I got pee thrown on me. Probably other bodily fluids in it.
Look here, Susan Coots. Jennifer, I was told at one time that there were 2 genetic trees only in Kentucky. Elizabeth has my email if you want to let me know. I don't know what that means.
My brother, we're factor 9, the disease. Don't know how he got it. My great grandma, my mom's side, was left on her doorstep for 2 twin strays. Didn't know she was carrying it until one of my great uncles had all his teeth pulled, and his blood was clot, because factor 9's more about clotting inside and in the joints and stuff. And they tested him for factor 8, and I think she lost a couple other boys because it was common for hemophiliacs to lose boys in childhood or even during childbirth. And then they tested him for factor 9. And my family was blessed. I grew up with the fear of, my brother always having the fear of AIDS and HIV, because this was the 80s when I was growing up. And I guess that's why I became also kind of a taking a crap kind of, because my brother would get bullied. He was 4 years younger than me, 6 years in school. And I'll tell you what, back in the day, they'd let me yank those kids out of school that bullied my brother or tried to beat on him. And everybody was scared of me.
Yeah.
I put the fear of God, don't touch him.
Well, some of us single women, we got to take care of ourselves, and we got to take care of those around us, don't we, honey?
Yeah.
Maybe he was trying to start a pool hall business, pocket pool, 2-ball inside pocket.
One of those pulled sticks, like those little old pool games where you pull it back and go,
bing! Tashina Savage, you're beautiful, Jennifer.
That's my best friend from high school. We didn't like each other in the beginning, and then we got stuck in a room together in New York City, and we were there with a girl we called Care Bear. I'm not saying her last name. And man, we bonded. My hair even got caught on fire in New York City.
You guys wait until me and Jenny get traveling around. It's going to be so much fun. So we've got this trial coming up. I don't know when it's not even
It's not
scheduled.
even, I'm not even not even near going over the files or what's
Yeah.
been done. So
So
Gallagher,
we got a long
off.
It's a great case though, ain't it?
It is
It's
a very interesting case. Justice, it is a sad case. It was an event. It was an accident. If something did happen, then who watches and who's responsible when the social workers don't even do anything until after there's a death. They're alleging all this child abuse occurred, and the child went to a doctor 4 times in 1 week, but nothing was done. But anybody can be arrested. They just might not like your last name or your viewpoint or just the car you drive.
Oh, well, I guess what I heard.
Oh, what?
I heard that the new assistant attorney that was working at the Commonwealth's office is no longer there.
Casey?
Yeah, he's not working there no more. He's from what I've heard, he's doing really good with these real estate stuff. And that's one thing that we all have to kind of learn how to do is find our own niche, don't we? We have to find our own niche. And sometimes the doors that stay closed stay closed for reasons. Yes, yes. And then the Lord will open different doors that we never even thought of, like this show. I had no idea that a master's degree, that this is what I would use my degree for. I had such a different image in my mind all those years, I never dreamed.
Don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
I know, but this is really awesome. I'm so thankful for this opportunity in my own life. It's been such a blessing. And, we're able to tell the stories of all of these people. It's not just women, there's a ton of corruption that has.
There's just a ton of corruption. Diddy parties. I'm sure baby oil sells out everywhere. I mean, they don't even sell pantyhose at our Walmart in Whitesburg. I've tried to get pantyhose there. I don't know what you would use for a freak party with pantyhose, but they don't sell that there. I'm just, you get to the point in your life when, you could have had fun when you went to college back there's no cell phones and stuff. And even then it was just tame compared to all this stuff. Whew. This was some Sweet Valley High book stuff that I would read about in 5th grade and 6th grade that you would, I don't know if anybody remembers the Sweet Valley High books, but the Jessicas and the stuff, those big smack scenes and what you expected. I mean, I'm vanilla. If you know what I mean. Like, I've never been invited to one of those parties. I'm glad I'm not. I never got an invite or anything, but I guess they know that I'm not into that.
You talking about your decline.
Or that I had my phone when I was in college when there were no videos.
Yeah, me too. Me too. We're a little too old for that.
Oh, I'm so thankful.
Me too.
There's
and I also
pictures of me from college, 4, and there's no alcohol in them.
That's good. The other day, so the other night, I had, I always thought, I mean, pew pew me, okay? I mean, my goodness. I always thought that Don McCall was that Mike Infuse guy, and let me explain why. So I used to go down to the jail trying to go in with ministry and witness to the girl inmates, you know, and back then I was a singing and we was doing Bible studies and stuff, and every time I would go down there, it was this Mike Infuse guy. And when the very first time I went, I said, "Can I talk to the jailer?" Well, whoever I had said that to, they went and got the Mike Infuse guy, and he walked up to the window. He didn't tell me that he was Mike Infuse. He didn't tell me that he wasn't the jailer. So
I don't know who either one of them are. As I said,
Well,
I don't know people.
I thought he was Don McCall. I mean, sue me, right? It's such a big deal.
I don't
Well,
even
the
know
other-
who Don McCall is. He could shake my hand and I'd be like,
Apparently
"Have
I have
represented you?"
well, apparently I have no idea who he is either, and I've never seen him. Like, never in my life have I ever seen Don McCall, because I asked the other night, I was like, do they kind of look alike? Maybe I just got them mixed up. And somebody said, no way, said that Don McCall weighed about 600 pounds and he had bright red hair and that he was never at the jail.
Stuck out like
ever,
a sore thumb.
apparently. And, but, you know, so that is why I guess I always assumed that this Infuse guy was Don McCall, because he never corrected me. And I had an incident today, actually, where I had repeatedly I had talked to somebody repeatedly, and each time I spoke to them, almost, I said where I thought they worked, and
They were like,
they never corrected me. And I said, and then today I found out, oh no, that's not where I work. And I said, well, I bet you just thought I was crazy every time I talked to you and I was saying this. And she was like, well, no, I just thought that you said you thought that that's where I was at. And I was like,
she's trying to pull one on you. That's the
I think they were trying to pull a fast one on me, but it was my mistake. It wasn't their mistake. It was my mistake. But still, you know, I was just like, I should have done my research, but I didn't.
I saw a comment. Mickey Mouse said, "Who wears pantyhose anymore?" Well, not in the courts around here. You certainly don't. I mean, but when
ladies wear pantyhose,
I actually do wear pantyhose. I'm white as a ghost and everything, but in like federal court, when you're actually going to a legit court that you want to be taken serious in, and it's not like backwoods country court. I'm not dogging the courts, but it's very laid back and casual. But I mean, even in Florida, we would wear pantyhose, and then you take off the pantyhose when you got to your desk, and you know, but you just wore them. That's professional. You don't wear open-toed shoes when you're going for a professional look. I mean, that's just nowadays people think that, you know, they can wear blue hair and be professional and have tattoos on their face. I mean, I had 3 tattoos removed, and not on my face, but I had them all before I was 18, and I got them removed, and it hurt so bad when I was in law school, because it's still professional is professional. You make a first impression.
You don't get a second chance to make that first impression either, you know. And there are professional standards that this area of Appalachia never got the memo on, they just never, that is the training. That's the lack of training. That's the lack of education. Most of these people that are getting elected to these $100,000 a year jobs or more, Mickey was 115,000. You look at Terry Adams, the judge executive, he makes more than that probably. They're all right around there. The circuit court clerk makes $100,000 a year. They all make a whole lot of money.
Plus benefits.
Plus benefits. And, these elections in this area are just, they're popularity contests. Nobody pays attention to the education level. Nobody pays attention to, competent. So, I was kind of patting myself on the back there last week.
Attaboy, did you give yourself an attaboy?
Yeah, I did one of Butler's attaboys. But I got the highest ever recorded score on that competency exam, and in the nation. Like, that was a 3-hour exam. It's a huge.
I'm proud of you for that. I mean,
yes.
It
is a very big deal. I got my certificates and stuff, and they said that I exceeded national expectations and all this, but it was my professor who actually called me on the phone and was like, did you know how well you did on that? And I was like, what? And he said, you got the highest ever recorded score on that exam. It was a 97.4, and it was a 3-hour exam. And, I worked my tail off. But I don't think that, I was thinking about it, and I was like, do people even know what competence is? Like,
no.
A lot of people, I don't think people even know what the meaning of that word is. So I thought maybe we should look it up and read the definition.
Are you competent enough to look it up?
I hope so. Okay. The dictionary definition of competence. Number 1, the ability to do something successfully or efficiently. Now, do we know what efficiently means? Let's go up here and read what efficient means. This is very important, okay? Efficient means working in a well-organized and competent way, preventing the wasteful use of a particular resource. So that means, like, our judge executive, our fiscal court should be very efficient with their time, their money, the county's money. You want to get the biggest bang for your buck type thing. You don't want waste, fraud, and abuse. Any one of those 3 will bankrupt your budget.
If you did the job with the money you're given, because they're given plenty of money, they've had it from FEMA, they've had, tourism money. If you do the job correctly and get the right contractors that put the proper bids on them, then you will have money left over to develop and do other fun things, like to bring other things to the community. Not fraud, not abuse, but you will have extra money. And even though everybody says the county's broke, we have received tons of money, tons. And it's not been used for anything. Anything. She looks very sneaky in this photo right here.
I gotta take me a screenshot of it real fast. I love it. I love it. Listen,
I think you have a bugger or something like.
Some people think that there's a scrambler running
Or like a
around.
ham radio station that might be playing, and that can disrupt the signal, I think.
Well, if I didn't know that, like, StreamYard put out a big announcement that their software was having a really bad, they were having bugs in their TikTok or one of their other ones. And whenever it came up, I was like, I bet they're having one in YouTube too. They just not announcing it yet. And it
Yeah, we're talking about it, and now she keeps freezing up. I'm going to have to do a sneak raid and stalk out like in a white van, a white serial killer van, and watch and see who comes near her house and drives by with a scanner, and then, I don't know, lay spikes down and have their tires blow out so we know who it is. It'll teach them. I need a stakeout car, like a 1997 Nissan Altima or something, just that you just don't expect to be a stakeout car. It can be like my car and have a side panel gone. But me and Elizabeth need a stakeout car.
Yeah. We're going to get us a Scooby-Doo mobile.
It can't be obvious. As I said, like a 1997 Nissan Maxima or something.
They'll see us coming.
No,
they won't. No, you won't, baby. All right.
I got wigs from when I had cancer. I got tons of wigs. I never wore them after a while, but
I can't wait. I
got short, I got long, I got hippie.
We're going to be them all, baby. I wanted to read this one last thing on the PRIA. It's protecting inmates is the law. The Prison Rape Elimination Act, PRIA, isn't just about sexual assault. It's about setting strict national standards for prevention, detection, response, training, and accountability in every correctional facility. PRIA makes one thing very clear. Inmates cannot legally give consent to sexual activity with staff or anyone in authority over them. The power imbalance alone makes it impossible for that consent to be free or voluntary. But PRIA goes further. It requires jails to provide confidential reporting systems for inmates, which is something that I don't know. Do we even have something like that? Because look how hard it was for anybody to report and complain on Ben Fields.
I don't think they have a bat phone down there.
No. Well, and these were women that were on house arrest.
Yeah.
That was on Ben Fields. So where is the federal, and where was the federal investigation into the PRIA violations? Because
why aren't they doing it right now? It's in a national attention. I mean, they're getting egg on their face too for not doing it right now, where everybody's calling it out. I mean, with PRIA, it's not just about sexual abuse, sexual harassment. When an inmate comes in, they have to be screened. You can't put a 120-pound inmate that's in for his first time DUI with Bubba, the 250 sex abuse offender. You can't do that. They have to be screened to protect them from inmate. And every guard, every contractor, every volunteer, so even preacher man, they are supposed to take a mandatory training in PRIA. Was that done? Do they even have a mandatory? I don't know. I'm just an attorney that goes down to the jail, which I try to avoid. I mean, I know more about PRIA than most, but I ain't seen the handbook. She's laughing. I hope everybody's liking this. I'm kind of nervous. Hit the like button, y'all. I can't see how many people are watching. This is my first YouTube. I posted a video that I did a long time ago before I had cancer on my channel, and it's just one video, and it's me singing the 90s, like doing lip sync, like blind reaction to see if I know the 90s, and I knew them all, but I was burning up. I was so out of shape when I did it. That's the only video on my channel.
She's got great stuff. And she's going, now that we've got our first one over, she was nervous. Now that we got our first one over, we'll get Jenny on here a whole lot more. I was going to say something. We were talking about the, okay.
PRIA.
Yeah. In Taya's interview that she did with Brian Enton the other night, we just listened to Sarah's, but the one that Taya gave the other night, I thought Taya did really, really good in that interview. And I wanted to point out something. There was a lot of people that gave her a lot of backlash after when she first came out. And I kept telling everybody, you're just going to have to be patient. You know, this is all, you know, it's just all so different. It's all so much, you know, we didn't have anybody that was willing to listen before. And now all of a sudden people are listening, and we have a tendency to like have diarrhea of the mouth when people want to listen to us finally. And I know I come off like an absolute nut job when
I'm crazy. I'm worried about the ones that say they're not. That's the one I'm crazy. Life would be boring without being crazy.
That's true. Very, very true. Very, very true. But what was I saying? Look, my brain.
Menopause. I had chemo fog. That's all I blame it on.
You got it too. Okay, I'll think of it in a minute.
It's menopause. I'm on a chemo pill too. It's menopause, and it's just me, and I have a million thoughts going through my brain.
Sometimes I do too, and sometimes the one that I'm looking for just goes right out the window. I just had it. Wait a minute.
Like, I went to the store today to get milk, and what did I walk out with? Ice cream.
There you
Yeah. Forgot the milk.
I'm telling you. Oh, okay. I remember. I was talking about
Taya. Yes.
Yeah. One of the things. Oh, and I was talking about how good she did. So, somebody had sent me the video, the interview that she did with Brian Enton, and I think it was my mom.
Great job. I was impressed.
And she said, yeah, and she said she did a lot better with this interview. And I said, yeah, you know, it's really hard to become something overnight that you've never been before. You know, it's really hard. People think that it's just so easy. Well, we all got phones. Well, we all got accounts. We can all go on there and do YouTube. Honey, be my guest. You go right ahead, and you'll find out real quick how hard it is.
Elizabeth, she forgot. I was like, I'm coming on your show tonight. She had a whole different thing lined up, and she's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, what are we going to talk about? And she's like, PRIA. And I thought it was like spell check, and she meant Thai. So I'm like, okay, I'll talk. But I've never had a problem like speaking. I talk to people online.
Yeah, you're good. I knew you, and I knew everybody loved you too. But with Taya, you know, she had to learn, and the only way that you learn is to do it. Like
trial and error.
The most valuable advice that I took, and I took it. The most valuable advice whenever I started my channel was your first 50 videos are gonna suck, but that's okay.
Because number 51 will go viral. I'm thinking I have a million ideas to do YouTube or TikToks or whatnot, but I don't know, you get to do it. And I mean, it takes a woman or somebody with balls, and usually it's women nowadays, and to do it and actually take the leap and put yourself out there. I'm proud of Elizabeth. She's done exceptionally well for herself and the hardships and the backlash that she's overcame. But I'm always rooting for the underdog. Ty, she did great. Excellent. But she had never been interviewed before prior. It's kind of like going down up north and then them talking about your accent. And that's just all you know is how to talk the way you talk. You can't change that. But you can get better. You can refine.
And people got to remember, look how many years Taya spent in jail. Look how much time she has spent on that concrete jungle floor, you know, around all those other inmates. There is a way that you talk. You know, you're not going to go in there and spend 7 years in a prison and come out talking all professional, ready to go on TV.
Yeah, you're not going to, pardon me, do you have any grape upon?
I'm going to put that on a t-shirt.
You're like, you got mustard packets here? You got something other than bologna? I love bologna, though, fried bologna sandwiches, but you got some mystery meat? Yeah, you got some vine sausages. You ain't going to be talking coming out of jail all proper and stuff.
No, you're not. And she has mastered it so quickly. Yes. Very, very quickly. So we're all really, really proud of Taya. And, you know, you just have to support each other. Somebody also sent me a video yesterday or the day before of the Hatfield and the McCoys. They had done a video and gave me a shout out, the show and stuff, and they were really, really nice. And are you cooking something in there? Okay, it smells like burning or something. I am constantly on smell alert. Like, I'm always afraid that somebody's gonna come out here and try and set that wood pile on fire or something, you know.
The roof is on fire.
Where's that smell coming from? My dog actually saved us from a fire. My dog actually saved us from a fire one night. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and the one of the plug-ins caught on fire. We had a heater in it, and it had gotten too hot, an electric heater, and it got too hot, and it started shooting fire out of the plug-in. And my dog saw it, and she came in my bedroom, and where we were at, the boys were just little babies, and they were in their room, and I was on the couch in the living room. And if that fire had gotten bigger than what it was when she woke me up, I would have not been able to get through the fire to get in there and get my kids. And so she come in there and woke me up, got me up, and I started just panicking. I had something, I don't remember what, a fire extinguisher, I think, but I couldn't figure out where I was asleep.
I wouldn't know how to figure it out. Like,
I didn't know where it was at. So I ran to my neighbors, and I was beating on their door, and his wife came to the door in her underwear. And they're all really big fancy people too. And they gave me their fire extinguisher, and I ran back up to the house, and it was a pretty good distance too. And do you know that fire had never spread? I mean, praise God, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. But that fire stayed right where it was at, just shooting out. And it was shooting up, but it just stayed right there. Like, it didn't spread. It didn't get bigger. And I was able to put it out with that fire extinguisher. And the boy that came to fix that, you know, to replace all that, he said, whoever built this house, they knew exactly what they were doing. There's a little metal ring that they're supposed to put on the the power line, whenever it's run through the wall, there's a metal ring that's supposed to be on the back side of that box. And he said that a lot of people don't put that ring on there because it saves them some money or whatever. But that metal ring is what caught that fire and kept it contained right there. And he said if that metal ring hadn't have been on there, he said that fire would have traveled right through that power line, and it would have went, my house would have burned up. So I'm really
scary. My house burnt down when I was a little girl. And my mom, she used to decorate in home interior. I'm not a great decorator because I grew up and my mom quit decorating because she said I spent all that money decorating our house. And it just, I lost everything. So then she just decorated with pictures. And now, I tell her that I think I was adopted or something because all the pictures of me when she was pregnant with me were all burned up, or my little baby pictures, because there was no cloud. But I'm like, I was adopted, Mom. There's no pictures of you that's pregnant with me. There's barely one of me like being a little baby. And my mom's the sweetest woman, but I give her a hard time.
You look like your mommy, and you have the same sweet personality. I love your mommy. She was sweet.
My mom thought she was a criminal's wife when she was making her give her the boxes. She's like, why did you one of your clients a criminal's wife that was in jail?
I said I was trying to shake her hand and give her a hug, and then I was like, shake your hand, give you a hug, and she finally just walked right on past me. I was like, okay.
If I'd known that was Hillbilly crime, I'd ask for her autograph. She's a little something. Thank you, Paula Cornett, for being a member. Paula loves her boxers too. Paula's good people.
Amen. That's right. Thank you. Mackenzie says, we are very proud of Taya, and she is very brave for coming forward and speaking out. Without Taya coming forward, and we had Tasha came out first, but Tasha is in a really, really bad place. She got retaliated against, and, she ended up back on probation once again. And, that's kind of how the pattern that we see happening here is that there's always a condition. Like even when I was going through my thing, and they couldn't get me any right way, so they went ahead and tried to get a grand jury, and they did. They indicted me and brought criminal charges against me. But
well, that they're watching Ty. She's being so brave, but the thing is they're watching everything she says. They're looking at her backgrounds, anybody she's with, because she's under the thumb of the department till 29/9 now. They could violate her for the littlest thing, like going to Applebee's and saying, oh, there's a bar in Applebee's. You're not supposed to be in a place with alcohol. That could even be applicable to Food City, because Food City sells alcohol if you want to get technical about it. Anybody she hangs around, other places to go, what she says. She's putting herself out there right now, and it wouldn't surprise me if she got violated.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're going to try. You watch and see. They will. With my stuff, they should have just dismissed mine completely. I hired Ned Pillersdorf. I went to I thought that, first I went to everybody in Whitesburg, and they all laughed me out of their offices. And I didn't even realize at the time what they were laughing at me for. I just couldn't figure it out.
They were you were too good for them. They were too good for you.
Well, they couldn't help me. Well, none of them would help me. That was for sure. And so I was like, okay, well, who's the best? Who's the best outside of here? And I Googled it and I asked a few people, and they said Ned was who I should go to. So I went to Ned. Well, Ned comes in and he got a conditional dismissal, which means we're going to go ahead through Edison. We're going to go ahead and we're going to dismiss this, but we're going to tack on a year of a condition, meaning that if I got in any more trouble within that following year,
We'll
then
bring it back.
they'd bring it back. And that shouldn't have been on there, and Ned being such a great defense attorney, he should have made sure that wasn't done.
I'm in a case with Ned right now, and I've had several. Like, I'm in a case right now, a federal case, where I've gotten it. This is the guy's got a really good deal. His first time offender, and the AUSA, he hasn't shown up for any of the court dates. He showed up. He had one of his little assistants that had practiced law for maybe 2 months. Showed up and had never been in federal court before. He's not showed up once. He's like, and I'm like, fine, I'll handle it. He's like, are you going to handle the PSR interview? Are you going to handle this? Like, I'm writing the sentencing memorandum. I went over the pre-sentence report. I mean, he was all talking to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor's like, I'm just going to talk to you because we have this worked out. He's saying, we're going to trial and this and that. Me and you are on like the same page of working it out. But he hasn't showed up. I think he used, and this is my opinion, is he got that Sabrina's case because he knew he was going to launch a campaign, and he knew this would put him on the national level and launch his campaign for running against Ty Rogers. You can't tell me different, but I do have opinions.
Me too, and mine's the exact same thing. Well, I've just got questions. Why was Judge Mullins not named in that civil lawsuit? That was his judge's chambers that Ben got access to. He still should have been named in his professional or his official capacity. Why was Bert Sloan not named in that civil lawsuit? Why was Angie not named in that lawsuit? Because
the private company that the GPS has gone through, they should have been named. That would have been an easy big pocket. I mean, you go after big pockets. I mean, individually, you're not getting people that have money. But the deep pockets, these GPS companies probably have deeper pockets than the governments. They're making tons of money, and they should have been named. There were so many left off. And Elizabeth should have been named because she was responsible. Just kidding. No, she wasn't. See what the people were saying.
Do what?
I said, Elizabeth should have been named. No, just kidding. I'll see what people were saying.
Well, I just believe that, and this is just my belief, but I believe that Ben was a bargaining chip. I think that they all, because that's what lawyers do. You negotiate with the other side to try and get the best deal for your client, right? Well,
but it's for your client, not for yourself.
For yourself or for the other side.
Right. It's the best interest of your client. If you think that, then you do not represent them.
I think and I'm sorry, but I believe that this is, we're talking about the good old boys club, and this was before Judge Mullins was shot and killed. Judge Mullins was still on the bench. He was still in power, and he still was the golden boy of the governor and the state of Kentucky for the Senate Bill 90 pilot program. He was building this big, whatever they think that they were building. You've got so many partnerships now.
And they were just exploiting the drug addicts. They were not helping them. They would get into Senate Bill 90 programs, or they would be sent to rehab when there was an F case, which means it's not went before the grand jury yet to be indicted. So they'd go through rehab thinking that, hey, the case is going to get dismissed. I'm not going to get indicted. Well, Edison and them weren't on the same page. So when they get up to Judge Kraft's room and saying, Judge said it was, why am I up here? Judge says being dismissed. I went to like long-term treatment or whatever. And it was like, no, you've still got these felony charges.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's exactly kind of what Taya was saying too. You know, they tell her she's got 7 years. She gets to prison and finds out she's got 12 and a half, and there's not a damn thing she can do about it.
I don't know how she stood there for 12 and a half years. And whoever told her, yeah, after you enter a plea, you have 30 days to appeal, but there's other ways to appeal that gets you out of the 30 days. DPH has a appeal people. The Department of Public Advocacy has an appeal department, but she should not have spent that much time. And for one Suboxone, they were chasing her down to make her do that. And once they got the Suboxone, they used it. They didn't turn it into evidence. What's up with that? So when an attorney wants to look at the evidence in the case that they have, which would have been the one Suboxone pill or strip, well, it's not there because the CI used it. So where's the evidence to be analyzed? How do we know that it was even Suboxone? I mean, there's so many questions that could have been done for her case, but she was already in the system. And in my opinion, she knew too much. So she's just going to plea, and they gave her down the road.
Who?
Ty. Like how they gave her down the road. And I mean, the thing is they didn't even have the Suboxone in evidence because the confidential informant used it. So how can we test it? It could have been a sugar pill.
And I guarantee you she had a public defender. Guarantee it.
Public defenders are good because they've been there forever and they know the courtroom. There are some great public defenders, but the caseload is just overwhelming.
Well, it depends on what the circle is that they have to work in. You know, what we're finding out here is you've got some public defenders that will go up. They work these cases, but they know exactly what they're up against. They know that if they challenge that prosecutor, or if they challenge or piss off that judge because they won't let something go, or they won't let that prosecutor get what he's wanting that he shouldn't be getting, if you stand up in any way, shape, or form to one of them, then who's going to be in trouble? Like, they're going to have to deal with it in their next case. The next time that they go in front of that judge, the next time that they have to work with that prosecutor. So they're not going, and that's exactly what I think that Ned was doing when he took Sabrina, or when he jumped on to Sabrina's case, because Ned was not, from what I was told, Ned was never the lead attorney on her.
The Baxter girl that drove down
Bethany Baxter,
that was empathetic and never got on TV. I don't think you should be launching yourself onto TV and trying to make a name for yourself as the case is pending. That's your interest, You're looking out for you, not your client.
Well, I was told that the other lawyers in that case were very upset that Ned keeps going on all these shows and talking about the case. And from what I was told, he was told by other attorneys, allegedly, to stop. They told him to stop talking about this case. And it wasn't 3 days later, and he was already up on another show.
I'm sure I'll get some comments, but I really don't pay attention to stuff like It'll go over my head. Like,
I don't read the newspaper.
I've never been out to make friends. I mean, just because I'm on your show, you know, I'm gonna get some people be like, oh my gosh, but you know what? I really don't care.
Taya said that she never saw the discovery in the Suboxone case. They had a DVD and the lawyer said he'd bring it to the show to show her, but they didn't.
Well, I mean, in the drug, it needed to be tested. It could have been a sugar pill. It could have been anything. I mean, if somebody was bugging you for it and you wanted to get them off your back, it could have been a placebo effect. The lawyer didn't do their job, but they probably had little training and a lot of cases and was like, well, this is the best deal looking at your records you're going to get. So that was just the way to close the case. She's froze up. They're after her again. She did get her a pew-pew the other day. I always have one. But she needed one too.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I actually got another. All right, here we go. We're going to talk about Lexi Bentley for just a second.
I don't know much about her, so
that's okay. So Lexi Bentley was a young lady who lived in Letcher County, and she was a party girl. You know, she'd come from a very, very traumatic childhood. She had been sex trafficked as a child in her own family. And so she really had a difficult upbringing, and coming into a young adult, substance abuse and jail was her future. And that was what her reality was. It was substance abuse and jail, and that was it. That was all her poor little reality consisted of. And pain, a ton of pain and trauma. And Taya brought her up in her interview, and Lexi had went to jail. If I've got this right, Taya, I'm going to try and repeat what Taya said. She was coming up for her visitation with her children, and she was in Pikeville or somewhere, and she couldn't get a ride back here to Letcher County for her visit with her kids. And from what I understood, she called Angie Fields down at the jail, Ben's wife, and asked her, if I get arrested, if I get myself arrested, will they come get me and bring me back to Letcher County so I can see my kids for the visitation? I guess I'm assuming that she said yes, because I think that's what Lexi did. Taya, did I get any of that wrong? But so then she ends up, she ends up in jail, and I think the three of them, Taya, Lexi, and I think it was Brittany Looney, who actually, that man that I married was her dad.
Did she herself in jail?
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. So that little guard, Sarah, who did the interview, she said on Brian Enton's show, she had said on Taya's live a couple weeks ago, she was the first one to bring it up. And she said that Lexi did not die at the Hazard Psych Ward like was reported. And I remember I read that in the newspaper. I think it was the old ME down there in Wattsburg that I read that in, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to go back and double check that. But I'm pretty sure that's where I read that. So but from what I understood, she was supposedly sent to the psych ward for whatever reason. And then she supposedly unalived herself at the psych ward in Hazard. But the little guard, Sarah, said that was not true. She said she died right there in Letcher County Jail.
So did she ever make it to Hazard?
I don't know. No, because she died, allegedly, she died in the jail. Now, this was during COVID. Were you a lawyer down there during COVID 2020?
I was going back and forth. I started more on 2021.
Okay.
But as I said, I don't know anybody like.
Yeah. Well, I went down there because that was when I had just married that man, and I didn't know his daughter, and all I knew was she was in jail down there. So I went down there to visit her a couple times. I'm like, hey, I'm your new stepmom. Tommy, hello. I thought I'd bring you some money. Can I help you? Can I give you a Bible? I was just trying to be what I was supposed to do, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so I go down there during that time, and I saw how they kind of had their the visiting booth set up. At that time there wasn't no visiting, or nothing, I don't think. But I saw how they had them set up. And they also did it like whenever they would get really overcrowded and they didn't have the space.
I've seen them do the visiting booths. They've turned it into individual little cells. Like little tiny ones you couldn't even stretch out on.
No, and that's where she was at. She was in that very first group there where the phones are, those phones. She was in allegedly, she was in the very last one right in front of the booth.
Right in front of the guard's booth, or right near the door?
No, by the guard's booth. That's what I was told. So I got a second. The reason why I never really did talk about that very much, because all I knew was what Taya and Sarah said on Taya's live. I didn't have any other information about Taya or about Lexi or her death. And so I get another email from a lady, and she says that she knows for a fact because she worked at the jail, and she also worked somewhere else. And I'm not going to say where she worked because it might identify her. But she says that there's a video of her death from the security cameras in the jail.
You're never going to find that video.
She said that she saw it in Edison Banks's office, that they had it and that they were playing it. And she said, I saw the video.
And she's
legit. Yeah. And I was also told that
if it were in Edison's office, that was one, you're never going to find that video. You would be dumb if you went and you got it from the jail to hide it and make sure it got away, and then you brought it to your work and let people see it. If you wanted to get rid of it, one can keep a secret. What's that? One can keep a secret, but two of them, one of them's dead to keep the secret. That whole Pretty Little Liar song.
Yeah, but I tell you what, we got
one of them's dead.
But when all of this stuff is such a poorly kept secret, and everybody knows, nobody's gonna challenge, nobody's gonna ask any questions, nobody's gonna say nothing, and they already know that, because look how many instances that nobody's ever spoke up on. Nobody's ever. Not one person even came out when Ben pled guilty. Not one person.
I didn't realize what Ben, I was in court a lot then, and I didn't realize what Ben was pleading to. I was familiar with him being the bailiff down in Judge Mullins' courtroom. And I would go in the smoke room when I had court. I wasn't one to go. I never went out to lunch and ate. I think that makes you a friend. Like, I was more of an acquaintance with everybody. Like, people try to say that Mickey and Kevin weren't friends, but going out to eat, that makes you more of a friend and not just a work acquaintance. I'd go to the smoke room when I had court or a little bit after court and stuff to that nature. But I've never been one like to take my lunch up there and sit around and bull crap. Almost said it. But I mean, that goes to the whole acquaintances, friends. I think friends go out to lunch every day. I also didn't have the money to spend to go and eat all the time. I mean, like, it's expensive.
Well, that's what that was a question I had too. Who paid for all that? Did they, whenever they would go in a big group, did one person pay, or did everybody have to pay for their own meal?
I didn't, but I never went. But I know I never paid for anybody's meals.
Well,
I got a dog myself, and I can barely afford it.
Here's the thing. When they've got all that funding coming in and they've got all that money, a lot of those programs, somebody's got a credit card, I guarantee you. And when they can pass that stuff off as that's a business meeting, that's a business lunch.
Yeah.
We can write that off as a business lunch. Well, you know what? That's waste, fraud, and abuse. That's waste, fraud, and abuse. When you don't have to have a business meeting,
if you're not talking business, like,
and street side is very expensive. Me and you've been there before.
Yeah, we got our food paid for.
But it's very expensive.
It's pretty expensive, and I'm not a big fan of street side because it's all spicy. There's some of the food's good, but it's pretty expensive. I mean, eating out really anytime, like, they ate out or got to go or delivery every single day. The only person that I remember bringing his lunch was when we had the special judge, and he was a great judge. I'd worked with him in Floyd County that filled in for Kevin Mullins after he died. And his wife, he would drop from Floyd County. His wife would pack him a little lunch every day with a little sandwich and stuff. He's a great little man. I hate saying little, but he was just compact.
I love you. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, so
it does have alcohol. I'm answering.
Yes, it does. Yeah, you answer all them questions you want to. Taya was talking about her Suboxone thing. I just think that that's insane. I take 2 Suboxone every single day.
She takes 2 Suboxone every single day, and she's prescribed it, and it's her MAC, and it keeps her from having cravings to go back to her addiction. There's nothing wrong with MAC treatment if it works for you. I don't take Suboxone. I've never had that addiction. I grew up with a father that had a bad drug addiction. He was a bad drug addict and drug dealer. And if he could have got on MAC, but he wouldn't have. We tried to get him help so many times. He's dead now. I became estranged like 2 years prior to his death, so I'd already mourned his death. But if MAC treatment works for you, you do what works for you, what keeps you being able to function in society and be a contributing member. Don't dog what works for somebody because it doesn't work for you, or you've never been in their shoes or had that experience. I just don't judge. Getting on people about don't do it in the MAP program.
Hey, listen, abstinence has such a low success rate, especially for long-term recovery. I probably went to rehab and successfully completed every single one. I never flunked out of none of them. But it didn't do me no good. I failed after I left. When you are inside of a controlled environment, it's easy to stay sober. It's easy to be clean. It's when you go home, you have to go into the same exact environment that you left, and life still happens. You know, your dad's going to die. Your mom's going to have a car wreck. Your kids are going to, you know, get
You've got good kids. You need a real attaboy. You do you've raised some good kids. I mean,
thanks.
But you know what? You had them later in life. You had them later in life after you got your act together.
Well, they were what caused me to get my act together. I did not have my act together when I got pregnant. I was still a mess, but I stayed sober while I was pregnant. You know, that's always such a wonderful time when there's a new baby.
Pregnant. And I had to have a hysterectomy after I had my mastectomy because I was triple positive with breast cancer. But I never really had that motherly nature. Tashina, who was in the chat, could told you, like, we had those little babies that cried and you had to put the little thing on for high school. And I put mine in the back of my car and it died because I couldn't stand it waking up and stuff. And luckily my aunt was the teacher and she was like, Jenny, I don't know, your baby is showing neglect. I'm like, where's your baby? And I'm like, this prom week. And I'm like, it's in the back of the car. I never wanted kids. And I knew I never wanted kids. And I took measures like birth control to never have children. And I just never, and some people just aren't meant to be mothers. I'm a great aunt and I'm a great dog mom, but I just knew I'm too much of a mess to have children. Like, yeah.
Well, you'll be a great aunt to all of us.
Oh, I'm a great aunt. Oh, I spoil my niece and my nephew, but he's like, Jenny, if I get in trouble, you only live about 40 minutes from me. I'm calling you. I said, you do that.
Yeah. Pamela Mullins says, ask her for her work number. We will put Jenny's number.
I have a work cell phone number, and I'll put my email address as well.
Yeah, and we'll add it. I'll put a special post up on the YouTube post, and then I'll make one on Facebook and TikTok too. So if anybody needs a good lawyer, we got one.
And I had my Facebook since 2005 and the Chinese hacked it and I have not been able to get on. So I just made a new Facebook. I've not been able to receive messages since first part of August. I've not been able to get on it. So my business pages, I'm not receiving messages. They got me.
Yeah.
It was like a child to me. I've had it since 2005. All sorts of pictures and everything. But, oh, well.
I hate that.
I hated Facebook anyway.
I know. I'm not much of a... I'm... Most of my focus is on my YouTube. I'll do my Facebook occasionally but, you know... There's so much fakey on there now, and which, I mean, I guess it always was, but right now where you've got so much going on with the elections.
People want, the people that seem to have their act together, they're the ones that are hiding the most. I mean,
yes.
What am I going to post? Oh, took a nap today. I got a great 9 hours of sleep, and then I could come home and take a nap, actually cook myself some dinner. I mean, I'm not going to post, like, I did post my last post before I got locked out by the Chinese, was my picture from I was 30 pounds lighter with no hair and everything exactly 2 years ago, back when I posted on it. So y'all could probably look on my profile and see, because I think I did it public. And I've grown out that much. I've gained about 25 pounds back. Yeah, I was really bad. I didn't let on how bad my cancer was. But I knew I was not going to die from it. After my mother lost my brother, I prayed to God, and I know He'll answer the prayer that my mother not lose her other child. So I knew I wasn't going to die.
Amen. Praise the Lord, honey. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Miss Pamela says, I need a lawyer not in bed with all the judges.
Yeah, I think I'm a little too old for him.
Mic drop.
I didn't get invited to the parties.
I didn't either. But you know what? Here's the thing.
I'm vanilla. I thought I wasn't, but I'm pretty vanilla.
Yes. Well, I think about myself back in the day. And if I had been, in Letcher County Jail, and I was, back when I was wild and, stuff, if the judge had done to me what the librarian said that he did to her, I swear, I feel like I would have been like, let's go. Oh my gosh, really? I probably would have. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
You'd like some little John, or let's see, some DMX in the background going like, "It's a Rough Riders." Whoa, stop, drop. You'd be rolling down the road like you,
face down. No, I'm just, we're making fun, we're laughing, having a good time.
I'm down to earth. I've always been down to earth. I mean,
it's fun.
I've practiced 18 years, and what you see is what you get. My mom didn't raise me to be above people. I don't think I can be.
If you can't laugh occasionally, no, Jenny was not her lawyer that she couldn't trust. No, that's not Jenny. No. That's right. If you don't laugh, you'll cry over a lot of this
totally
stuff.
I mean, life's too serious if you take everything seriously. I mean, I find humor in dark stuff too, and people would get upset over it, but teach their own. You have to laugh or you would cry.
That's right. And that's what we try to do, is just get through. Everybody has to deal with a lot of this stuff their own way, and what we're talking about is a lot of dark evilness, and we just gotta rebuke it in the name of Jesus. Hallelujah. Okay. I also
we were talking about the video that allegedly exists. There's all these videos that allegedly exist. I wonder if they're VHS tape. Maybe they're Betamax. Does anybody have a Betamax player? I know my mom still has a VHS tape. She has I always recorded the Miss USAs and watched them because that was what I was into. I was this little fat kid with glasses. I had bifocals in the 2nd grade, but I love Miss USA. She's thinking, and she got up.
Yes. I ran out of my drink. I don't have nothing to drink.
I got my lemonade. I'm almost out of my Dr. Pepper, and I'm almost out of water. And Elle's being so good, just sitting right here.
Yeah, she's done really good. We've been on here We've been on here 2 hours.
Oh my goodness, we're probably boring people. They're probably like, shut up and y'all ain't talked about nothing.
That's all right. That's what this show is. That's what this show is. We talk about what we think in our comments about what's going on in Letcher County.
And all around, it's all corrupt. You ain't going to find a non-corrupt area. It's just what's brought to light. Are people willing, like, if Mickey hadn't done what he done, none of this would all still be going on. And people just have to finally find the courage, and it takes time to find the courage to, and some people may never. And that's how they deal. But you have to find the courage to be able to find your own voice and speak out and not be afraid.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
I know I need backup lawyers. It's a male's world, criminal defense. There's a couple. They're not from around here. And I have some good friends that are lawyers, and I'm still licensed to practice in Florida. My best friend, she's actually the state attorney over for the first judicial circuit, 4 counties. And if I went back to Florida, I have a job as a working back in my old office in Okaloosa County near Shalimar, Destin. But I won't leave my mom and go anywhere. Yeah, I wouldn't leave my mom and go anywhere. As a prosecutor, I was always known as being fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. Absolutely. We have a really big problem in this area with the way that our sentencing guidelines, I believe, this is my opinion, our sentencing guidelines are set up on sex offenders and sex abuse, sexual assault, sex abuse, all that kind of stuff. I think that it's absolutely insane that one person can plead guilty to abusing 2 minors and get 5 years of work release and house arrest and never serve 1 day in jail, whereas another person that doesn't have a relationship with the prosecutor gets 20 years in prison for 1 child. I don't see how that's fair.
Well, in Kentucky, I don't think the the crimes are appropriate. You can get 5 years for committing sex acts on a child. That is not enough time. I mean, you're giving drug addicts possession charges more than that when they'll say it's a trafficking charge just to soup it up, even though it's just their personal use. And you're sending them to prison when we should be locking away the predators. In Florida, they would have their civil commitment, and before a sex offender got out, because they got long sentences and we didn't have parole down there, there's this little community in the county, and civil commitment is a jury trial, and they're always found guilty. And then you don't get out into the free world in Florida. You go into that little sex offender community that has its own little convenience store and stuff. There is no getting out. You are not cured. And that's what is ordered. And I think that's how it should be in our state too.
Yeah, I believe it too, because there is no cure. They don't just stop doing that. They don't stop getting those urges to do what they do. That's a sickness.
Yeah, I akin it to being, somebody's gay, somebody's straight, somebody's just, these people are attracted to whatever age group they are. They're not getting over it. And they have shown they act on their urges.
Yep. Man, you said that. That's a great point. That's a great point. It sure is. It's not like I saw a video the other day of this gay man here in Letcher County, and he was talking about how people use religion for everything, and he said they even try to beat it out of you in the churches being gay. And he said that he had went and, you know, they prayed over him and prayed over him and prayed over him. And he said, I don't remember if
Pray the day away. Were they
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
pray the day away?
I think he even
That's
said
wrong.
that
Those conversion camps and everything. That's abuse. I mean,
it is. It is. But he said, I even think he said that they picked up a snake praying over him about it too. But he said it
was
never
my
worked.
uncle there?
But he said it never worked. You know, like he's like, I'm still gay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still straight. I mean,
Yeah.
one of my best friends, you know, he's gay. He's in federal prison. He was a doctor. He's actually at a halfway house. I can't wait for him to get out. He's a great guy who got railroaded by the system. But he's a Christian, and they tried to do that stuff to him, and you know, he's never going to be straight, but as he's attracted to certain things. But me and him had that discussion, and as a psychiatrist, he's like, you don't cure these urges. That's hardwired into their brains.
Yeah. I've seen children, like toddlers, like 3 and 4 years old, that I knew whenever they got older they were going to be gay. It was just in the little babies. You can just, some of them, you can just tell. And listen, we are all sinners. Now, this is just my opinion. This is my own philosophy that I've kind of learned through trial and error of my own ways. Okay. I got saved, and it's real easy. And I started going to church. I went to church very, very dedicated for 10 years or a little bit longer. And, you know, we are always sinners, but it's real easy when you get into a church and you get saved and you become a Christian and you start trying to live this new life. It's real easy to get self-righteous. It's real easy to start saying, well, I did it. Well, I changed, you know, why can't you? You get up on your high horse and you start, you know, wanting
on
to,
your high horse and tell everybody else they're going to hell if they don't change, you know, where you should be setting an example and being down to earth.
Also, we're all going to be sinners. I don't care how
every day, every hour.
The only one.
Well, that center froze. This center didn't. As the videos, I don't know. I did watch one time in Florida when I was prosecutor. Britney Spears had this suite in a hotel, and she got one of her Snakes tapes stole, and they were trying to blackmail her. And there was charges that wound up not being filed because she wanted to keep it under wraps. But I mean, had to kind of see it to make sure it was her in my office.
And that's fun.
Oops, I
Oops, I did it again.
was with K-Fed.
All right.
Okay,
Strike a pose. Vogue. All right. Well, we've had you all on here for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
I've enjoyed you all.
Thanks for being here. It's fun, isn't it? It's fun. It's pretty.
I lost all my teeth. I had them all pulled from the chemo. And I even put my teeth in for the night.
It's all right, honey. You are beautiful. I love you.
Thank you. You are too.
Thanks. All right, y'all. Well, thank you, Jesus, for another day being able to come together in your name, Lord. Thank you for Jenny being able to be with us as a guest on our show, Jesus. I pray that you forgive me for my sins, because I'm always falling short. I'm always coming up short. And I just pray that you'll keep a watch over my mouth, Lord. Help me not to say things I don't need to say. Give me the words to be able to express myself clearly We love you, Jesus. We cannot do nothing without you. We give you all praise, honor, and glory in Jesus' name. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All
And I
right.
hope to be on the show as a regular guest. Me and Elizabeth talked about it. So
Yes, ma'am. She is. And we're going to have all kinds of neat stuff. We're going to be trying. Jenny is who I was talking about a long time ago, or well, not a long time ago, but a couple of weeks ago when I said we were going to try and start like a consulting business. So we're going to try, we're going to try to get our ducks in a row and see which way it goes. But,
we know there's big things ahead.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit, not the limit's the sky. You all have a good night. She's froze on a smile. And she still froze. I'm reading to everybody. See you all. See you, Paula. I'm glad you became. Hope your babies are good. Your baby boxers. Good night, everybody. Thanks, United We Stand. I will come back. We'll discuss the Brian Gallagher case, and there's crazy other cases I've dealt with.
You can't hide from hillbilly crime.
You can't hide from hillbilly crime.
You can't hide from hillbilly crime.
You may not know that there's a crew in town, the head hill.